About something you already mentioned. One of my heroes is Robert Maynard Hutchins.
Yes.
Very famous for getting rid of football. So maybe
I forgot about that.
hear some of your logic.
Somehow they
there.
survived, didn't they?
They did quite well.
Yes. Did you want to talk a little bit about football?
Yeah, I'm curious
sure.
the thinking and how that evolved, and the reaction you're getting from alumni.
Yeah, it's well, first, I always want to talk first about the players and the coaches. I've gone to all our football games. I know it's a good quality program. And when I walked into the room of full of very large men and explained what it was that was going to happen in my decision, and we were all near tears, and said some things, and promised, of course, the maintaining scholarships throughout their career and all that sort of stuff. But you all know in that situation, once you start to explain what's going on, people stop hearing. And so we had handouts and so on, so people could, as they calmed down a little, see what's going on. But how did the players react? One of them finally stood up as we were talking and just told us to shut up. I mean, didn't say it quite that bluntly, but basically told the suits just to be quiet. The players are going to take over control. And they went and they rallied in a huge huddle, arms around each other, talking about supporting each other, helping each other through this, and then broke the huddle with a "Go Vikes." I mean, to me, that's a sign of a really class act, a really strong program. And I mention that only because this isn't about the strength of football per se, or about the quality of the football program. It's really about, within a constrained budget, what choices you make about the kind of intercollegiate athletics program you're going to have. Different institutions have to make different choices. Central has to make a lot of tough choices about the situation they're in football, and it's different than ours. And we had to make tough choices also. Intercollegiate athletics budget has been running in the red. I don't know how, as far back as we looked, it had to be bailed out at the end of the year, usually to the tune of about $200,000. And then 2 years ago, that went up to about $360,000 was running in the red. Last year it was $550,000 was running in the red. And that just came out of central reserves. The president bailed them out of those debts. That's because of rises in travel costs and a bunch of other things we could talk about, which is the principal part of their budget. It's not as though somebody's throwing money away. This has nothing to do with the current fiscal crisis. That's just a problem that has to be addressed by intercollegiate athletics. One way to go is to just sort of spread the pain across the board and say everybody cut. Recruiting budgets disappear. Travel budgets are cut even further. Assistant coaches are cut further. It weakens the whole quality of the intercollegiate athletics program. That's one way to go. And at a university where you have to have football, that's a route we would have to take, probably. Ours is a university where football has a long tradition. 98 seasons, over 100 years, some interruption by the Second World War there. It is a tradition that doesn't penetrate our campus very deeply. Our students, our faculty, our staff are not strong supporters of football. It's been basically on campus a yawner of an issue on our campus, eliminating football. And that's a sad fact, because I believe very much in intercollegiate athletics. I believe strongly in it. But it's part of the challenge. It's just our circumstances we have to recognize there. There are, of course, people who are very upset with the decision, and I would qualify, Mark, you mentioned alumni. It's really the football alumni. And these are intercollegiate athletes who I had an email from a football player down in California, quite upset with me and my responses, and I sent back some more reasons. He said, "You don't understand, we're still going to fight this right to the very end." And I emailed him back. It was fairly late at night by this time. I said, I wouldn't expect anything less from a Western alum and an intercollegiate athlete. Have a good evening. And he said, "Rupert, maybe you aren't quite the ogre I thought you were." But these are people who are not going to lose. That's the way they're going into this. Our alumni themselves are supportive of the decision, the Alumni Association and what have you. So I just wanted to make that particular decision. It's really driven by how do you protect the quality. Ours is actually a very strong program of intercollegiate athletics. There's something that you may well be familiar with called the Learfield Directors' Cup. It ranks overall quality of competitiveness of an athletic program by the actual results. And I looked at those results on December 10th as the latest rating I could find, and we were number 10 out of about 127 D2 programs. So overall, we have a competitive program. In our and some of the former football players I've talked to and our alums, very successful people, and it's one reason why I value intercollegiate athletics, is that what it takes to be successful in intercollegiate athletics is also what it takes to be successful in life. And wherever I go and travel and meet alums, I see intercollegiate athletes. I'm usually overrepresented amongst successful alums. These people have been very successful. Steve and I met with them just before a demonstration on our campus Saturday and had great conversations with them. But their argument is the university would be better off by having more opportunities for intercollegiate athletes, even though we know it would be lower quality. There are universities where that might fit. At our university, where the emphasis is on being premier, being the best in the Northwest, being the best in the nation eventually, to me that doesn't add up. In fact, I think it demeans intercollegiate athletics. Because there was sort of the implied, well, you can concentrate on make things strong in the academics, but you can let things be watered down and just sort of a mediocre program of intercollegiate athletics, because you still provide these opportunities for a diverse group of students to succeed. I think in a university, if we're serious about this, taking the premier in the Northwest and making it the best in the nation, you can't let that kind of thinking, that mediocrity is okay, creep into any part of the organization. You just can't do that. So it's really driven by this quality issue, as well as the need to, how within a budget constraint do you protect the quality of the experience for our student athletes.
Great.